Hello, everybody, and welcome to what we believe is episode 30 of Jux, an all things sports podcast. Thanks again for tuning in. If you're listening on Spotify, be sure to drop a rating, hit that follow button so you don't miss out on any new episodes. If you're on YouTube, please hit that subscribe button. I know it's a lot, but me personally, I've been subscribing to more and more YouTube channels because I want to encourage this type of content creation on the platform, and that's what we are here at Jux. We got a lot of new content for you today. We got the draft, the roster, the schedule
The
for
schedule.
all of the NFL teams coming up for you today, and a lot more NBA and NHL playoff news, along with some midseason baseball updates for y'all. Thanks again for tuning in. Thank you for spending this part of the day listening to us. I appreciate each and every one of you listeners. Train, it's just me and you again today. Eventually, we will get Nara back on this podcast. He's looking for the next big thing that gets us going on the NFL season. So it only feels appropriate to start things off with the NFL schedule release. And just because I have had myself a little bit of a night today, let's go ahead and hand this off to Cole. And let's hear a little bit about the Lions schedule. Train, Lions fans have been very hopeful on how the season went last year. A lot of encouraging things you saw. Jared Goff looking a little bit more like Jared Goff of St. Louis Rams playoff run on the Lions now. And what was a questionable draft in many analyst eyes, Lions fans thinks it's Brad Holmes' way of paving this Lions team a path to the championship. Cole, now that you got the schedule in your hands, you see what the roster is at least shaping out to be with Jahmyr Gibbs and Jack Campbell, which we talked about last podcast. How are you feeling now? Do you think this schedule gives you guys a good chance to contend, or are you a little bit scared? Where are you at as a Lions fan right now? What is it looking like for you?
That was a very interesting intro. I want to cover my bases here. I also appreciate everyone that listens. Uh, Not just Bark. Bark's a little messed up right now. He had an all
Just a
day
little
of
bit.
drink. He drank all day.
Half
A
day,
little, well, since like noon, he's been drinking.
at least,
Which
yeah.
is yeah, it's mostly all day. I went to go look at our subscribers, and it looks like I had to do some sort of verification, but I think we have 17, which is one more than last time we were on here. So I think we have one more. I don't know. Anyway,
If you
Lions.
guys get us to 20, if you get us to 20, I don't know what we'll do, but we'll make sure it's special. Get us to
All right.
20 subscribers. Tell your friends, family, whatever. Get the sub. It's not that hard. It's not that big of a deal. Try and go ahead.
All right. So there's been a lot that's happened since we've been back on. We're really busy people. We do it in our free time. I moved. I'm in a new apartment. Um,
Congratulations, by the
Thank
way.
you. I will have a better setup eventually where, I'm not just sitting on the couch. But Lions release the schedule. We get the first game of the season. I believe it's the first time we've ever had
Hype.
that against the Chiefs, the Super Bowl winning
Yep.
Chiefs. Um, Everyone in the chat didn't believe it could be done, and to be fair, I really didn't think it was going to happen. um, for us to land this Thursday night football against the Chiefs. Now I'll dip into this a little bit more than um, what I'll dip into any more games, but I think the Chiefs is a great spot to have week one. You have the entire summer and training and everything to work towards this one game, and not just this towards this one game, but you get a lot of time of preparation towards the probably the biggest competition in the league. It kind of puts people on notice. Hey, the league wants the Lions to play. They're not going to give the Chiefs the Lions at home if they don't think it's going to be a good game. This is starting off the season. Um, the Chiefs have a lot of good teams on their schedule to play against at home, and they go and put the Lions on it, which I feel like humbled by that. I'm like, okay, like, thank you so much. Like, I don't know. It did mean a lot getting that first game of the season. I don't know if you want to go through it one by one and see like
No,
our initial reactions
let's go
or
for it. Let me hear what
okay.
you got to think one by one. I want to hear you
Okay.
say what you think the Lions are going to end up.
Okay. So I did do that immediately. It came out at 8 o'clock on a Thursday some time ago. Um, but I think we go into Arrowhead and we at least make it interesting. It's really, it's a win-win here unless we get shredded. If we get shredded, it's bad. If we lose and it's close, we just lost to the number one team in football at Arrowhead in prime time. So, if we win, insane. If we lose and it's close, a loss is a loss, but I'll take it, kind of thing. So I think we do lose there. We jump back to Ford Field against Seattle. Oh, there's Jazz. Uh,
What's
we
up,
we go
Jess?
we come back home week 2 against Seattle, in kind of a revenge game. They're the reason um, we didn't get in the playoffs last year. I think we do win that game. I think it's going to be a great game. Still don't have JMO, but we win that game. The Falcons, I'm not so sure of. I think
What do
it's a
you?
run
Wait a
it's a
second.
it's a run heavy team that just got arguably the best running back in the draft, and our rush defense really didn't get a whole lot better. Um, but if I had to be optimistic, we do win that game. But I think it's going to be
No.
closer than a lot of Lions fans believe. Um,
If Train, I'm sorry to interrupt, but
yeah, go ahead.
if if you get the home open, well, if you get the home opener at Arrowhead against the Chiefs, and Lions fans are talking, we're gonna win the division easily. We're a top 4, top 3 team in the NFC, and you're in here nervous about the Falcons. I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it, Trent.
I'm not
You got to
nervous.
sell me a little
I'm
bit.
not. I'm not nervous. I think it's going to be a spot where we all think this is a game that we're going to destroy the Falcons.
That's
But
fair.
it's going to be closer than I think a lot of people are going to believe because of the way they play their offense and the way our defense looked against the Panthers at towards the end of the season last year. Not good. The Falcons can run the ball, and we cannot stop the run. Hopefully it improved, but we didn't get the players that I believe can stop the run like we should have.
I respect that take.
Thank you. So we're 2-1. I still think we win that game, and we lose to the Chiefs week 1. Then we go Thursday night football against the Packers at Lambeau Field, which I think we can win. I think we beat them in prime time, last game of the season, literally for nothing other than to destroy their hopes with Aaron Rodgers. We go in there Thursday night, 4 days of rest, same amount of rest as the Packers have, and we beat them as well. It's not the cold element. It's still September, late September, so I don't see it being a huge difference in temperature. I know we play in a dome, and that does hinder us sometimes in the late season. But we get the Packers early in the season where I don't think it really affects us that much. So I
Uh,
think we win that one as well.
can I interrupt one last time, and then I'll let you finish out the schedule? No problem. I think because this is
Yeah,
my second issue, and I think that's it.
yeah.
And I think I've raised this a couple of times on the pod, at least last time. Is there an inkling of doubt inside of you where, because I remember being a Lions fan when Brett Favre was like the guy for the Packers,
Yeah.
and then he left, and I was like, Hallelujah, this guy's out of my life. Fuck Brett Favre. And then Aaron Rodgers just came. It's like, whoa, 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 whoa. I watched the Lions suffer through Joey Harrington, Dante Culpepper, John Kitna, Dan Orlovsky, and then Matt Stafford was finally a decent quarterback, but we still couldn't do shit done. Is there an inkling inside of you that is just like, well, it's the fucking Packers. Of course, Jordan Love is going to be like the guy.
I'm more afraid of his weapons. They drafted two tight ends that are pretty talented. They have Christian Watson.
Low key
Uh,
burn, though. Two tight ends, one draft.
Little funny. It's a little funny. Um, but Christian Watson might make Jordan Love look incredible. Christian Watson might be a wide receiver two on fantasy teams, maybe wide receiver one. I think he's gonna get the ball and he's just gonna be that that relief for Jordan Love a lot, where you're gonna see him get 10, 8 plus receptions more often than you'd think, and before the season. Um, so I'm just looking at my schedule here. I am a little afraid of that. However, there was a lot with Aaron Rodgers. I don't know if the transition with Brett Favre. I know it was not. It was pretty messy, but it was kind of pretty messy with Aaron Rodgers too. And I don't know if Jordan Love is the same. And if he is, I'll someone can clip this and make me eat it. Um,
I
anyway,
hope.
got a lot of games to get back to. Week 5 against the Panthers at home. Revenge game again. This is Seattle. I don't think we lose that. We win that game. Um,
I
Panthers did
agree.
improve. Panthers did improve. However, I think we did as well. And we're not playing in 10-degree weather, in the winter. We're at home this time. I think our home schedule is pretty easy, especially in the first half of this season. With the Falcons exception and the Seahawks exception a little bit. But if you're saying those are the teams of exception, then it's not too bad. We're at the Bucks next, so we have one loss after week 5, 4-1. I don't think it's that crazy really to talk about. The Bucks, I still think we beat them. They're in shambles. They might be the worst team in the league, in an easy division. We're at the Bucks. Again, not a bad place to play. It's nice weather there, and yeah, they don't. Who do they have? I think the only reason they made it to the playoffs and won their division last year was because of Tom Brady. And then here we go, week 7. J-Mo comes back against the Ravens in Baltimore. Um, and Bark, this is our last time ever having a cold weather game. Never mind. We have one cold weather game after this, after week 7. But I do think we lose this game. I think the Ravens are going to be absolute dogs this year with all the weapons they got. Lamar, and if Lamar got paid, he's not playing with that. He's like, all right, I got my money. I don't have to, take halftime shits or third quarter shits all the time. So we do lose that one. 5-2. Then Monday Night Football against the Raiders at home. That roof might fly off if we're 5-2, going against the Raiders. If we're going against the Raiders, Monday Night Football, week before the bye, 5-2, I think we win by 20 plus against the Raiders, easily, easily. So week 8, we win. We're 6-2. It's generous, I know. However, I'm high on the Lions. The Chargers after the week 9 bye, which is a great bye week. We usually get like a bye week at week 5. We get the Chargers week 10 in Los Angeles. And I also think they're going to be insane this year as well. I think Justin Herbert's found it. I think they got a new weapon for him. I mean, yeah, I do that. Did the Jags play them too? I feel like they might. Anyway, we'll go into that. Anyway, I think we do lose to the Chargers, even though it's off a bye and we get a lot of time to rest. We lose to the Chargers in Los Angeles. So now we are 6-3. Um, then we go home against the Bears, win. No more needs to be said. Another home game against the Packers, which is Thanksgiving Day. Um, I think this is our first win on Thanksgiving for, in a long time. I think we're at home against the Packers, and we almost went undefeated in the division last year. I think we only got better, and I mean, obviously teams improved a little bit. I don't think the Vikings actually did improve. I think the Packers did a little bit with um, some of their weapons, defense, but they also lost Aaron Rodgers. Bears, if anything, improved the most out of our division, and I still think we beat them and then go and beat the Packers in Week 12 on Thanksgiving. So hopefully we win that one. Let me see what my thoughts are on the next one against. Yep, New Orleans. At New Orleans, we win that one as well. Then we go to Chicago. Like I said, our only cold weather game. Um, that's really a problem. They're all either played in a dome or in typically good weather, California, Florida, things like that. Win that one. And then we go then we go home against the Broncos, which is to be determined on timing. It might be a flex game, but I think we lose that one. I'm being generous so far. I think the Broncos, with a new coach, might turn it
Well,
around.
not just a new coach. It's a Hall of Fame candidate coach.
Yeah, they traded. Yes, they traded for him, and I think that is probably what.
Gotta. Gotta.
Yeah, it needed to happen. I think by week 15, the Lions will be hot. They'll be red hot, but the Broncos will have figured it out. And if they haven't, the Lions might have a pretty decent back half of the schedule here. Um, they go at they yeah, I said we lose that one, and then we go and lose against Minnesota at Minnesota. I don't think we're sweeping the division. Um, Minnesota won our division last year. They're a good team. Like I said, they didn't improve in the off season, but I don't think here's our back-to-back losses. It's just happening. Yeah, you just scold me.
No, I did the YMCA. That was the second time. We didn't see the first
Okay.
one.
All right. Um,
I don't
then
know
we
what the
go.
skull is. No, I
Yeah,
did
that. I can't believe did Reen just hear that? He probably does that shit all the
oh, he's
time.
got a headset on right now.
Don't tell him you don't know what skull is.
Well, I know
Uh,
what it is, but I didn't know it was overhand clap. Like that's not
that's what it is. I thought you
fucking
said you
okay.
know what
Well,
it
everyone
is.
in the world overhand claps. You can't trademark that for your
How
NFL
many
team.
people do this
So many. What are you talking about? So many people
at
go.
football games?
Oh yeah. I mean, okay,
In
not at football games.
synchronized?
Not at football games, but it's like go to any concert in the world, they play one slow song, everyone's going.
See that? Oh,
No, no, no. Skull doesn't own that shit. Get out of here.
hey, that's fine with me. I'm not the biggest fan.
Big
All right.
Vikes guy, Coltrane, big Vikes guy.
Um, we go to Dallas week 17 after losing to the Broncos, then the Vikings, and then we lose against the Cowboys. 3-game skid, where we lose three in a row. I think the Cowboys just had our number last year. It was one of our worst games, I think, offensively. along with the Patriots, but I think they're going to find it. I think the Cowboys' defense is electric. Their offense may have gotten a little worse, but their defense is insane. They did add Michigan man Mozzie Smith. And then last game of the season against the Vikings at home. It might be a pretty big game. Yeah, I mean, I think we win it. I think fans show up after a great season if this were the case, and let's see what that record is. 5 losses, 12-5 after losing 3 in a row. 3 out of the last 4. I think we have a great bye week. We play the Packers on 2 Thursdays out of the year, if you count Thanksgiving, which is a Thursday, obviously. But I just, there's some takes that I got from it. I think the bye week was absolutely insane to me. When I saw we had bye week number 9, when I saw we had bye week
I'm
9,
listening,
I was
man.
I
Just keep
was
going. You keep
real
going.
hype. But I probably went on a long time about the Lions, but go through a week, 18 weeks, and here we are to the Jags.
You ready for this? I got a little bit of rapid fire for you. Maybe. We'll see. I haven't really
Okay.
looked at it, but I knew from the get go, the moment you're a division winner, got to play other division winners, which not sure Lions fans are too familiar with, but you win the division, you play other division winners. So I was really familiar with the fact that we'd have to play the Chiefs, we'd have to play the Niners. On top of that, we got, which to most teams wouldn't necessarily be a juggernaut, but when you're in the AFC South for the taking, they're not gimmies. They're not. The Texans were one of the worst teams in the NFL. Jags lost to them early. But, 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 they were coming off the Urban Meyer year, which I was very vocal about on the podcast. You can't count it. It was bad. Right? It was so bad. And you need to understand that Urban Meyer hurt this team and its development. Everybody took a step backwards under Urban Meyer. Urban Meyer proved that he was a college coach, and he coached these NFL professionals, the best of the best from college, as college players, which at Ohio State, when you're coaching, maybe you got to sit there and teach those kids that, like, you need to act like. I get it. I do. But that Urban Meyer season, and I know you can't, like, physically do it, but mentally you have to say, like, yep, didn't happen. Especially if you're a Jags fan. Understand that it did. Know the history. Big thing. Always understand history. It is what happened. It's a fact. But it happened. It's done. It's gone. The Urban Meyer era in Jacksonville happened, but it needs to be discounted. So we start week 1 with the Colts. Fuck them. Fuck the Colts. Fuck whoever their coach is. I don't give a fuck about them. We're winning that easily on Sunday at 1. It'll be a good start to the season. Then we play the Chiefs, which is nerve-wracking. I know it was close in the playoffs, and everyone's going to be like, this was a good matchup in the playoff. Well, yeah, Patrick Mahomes wasn't 100% because of a Jaguar. But, we'll see. I'm sure the Chiefs have a little chip on their shoulder, and Andy will go into the locker room and be like, remember everyone thought this would be close? Let's make it not close. We'll see. But Cisco looks like he's been on a different diet lately. And he might be able to cover Travis Kelce, which I understand is a good tight end. He's the best tight end of our generation. But we might have the answer. We might have the answer in Andre Cisco. But I think we lose it. Week 3, we got the Texans, 2-1. Fuck them. I don't care who their rookie quarterback is. I don't care about their rookie edge rusher. When you're minus to win a division, you win it easily. And that's what's crazy. Like, yes, the Lions improved. Yes, they were a good team last year. But are you minus 140 to win your division? No, you are not. Who is the other team minus points to win their division? The Eagles, the NFC team who made the Super Bowl last year. Every division game should be a gimme for the Jaguars this season. If we don't beat the Colts, if we don't beat the Texans, that's not a, back was wrong. I'm listening. I'm talking to you listeners out there. It's not that I was wrong. It just means that I was misinformed and the Jaguars are not a good football team. If we are a good football team, we should not lose a division game this season. So 2-1 after week 3. London against the Falcons, fuck it. It's London. 3-1. I don't give a shit what their offensive game plan is. I don't care how they do it. It's London. Those are our guys. They love us over there. Bills next week. Again, fuck it. It's London. We do not lose in London. We don't. That's our home away from home. Justin, if you're listening, I'm sorry, but fuck them. 4-1 Jaguars after week 5, 2 games in London. Then we get the Colts again week 6. Fuck it, 5-1. We should not lose a division game. Week 7 against the Saints. They signed Derek Carr. I think he's really going to work out there. I think that's a game where the Jags get shocked. I think we lose it. 6-2. Then we got the Steelers week 8. Sources say that me, Reen, and Nar will be in Pittsburgh for this game. If that's the case, per my history, we will lose. We got spanked by the Lions the same year that we won the division and won a playoff game. Lions fans won't tell you that, but I will. I don't give a shit about the Lions score. I give a shit about a playoff victory. I think we lose to the Steelers that week. I think that moves us to 6-2.
5-3.
5-3. That's week 8. 5-3 checks out. Week 9 bye week. Believe it or not, Train, this is the biggest point I have to make about the Jaguars' schedule. Is this week 9 bye week. Go ahead and look back at every team Doug Peterson has ever coached. And you let me know what those bye weeks were. I don't know what this man does, and I don't know how he does it. But that guy gets mid-season buys like a maniac. You don't want it too early because then it's like, well, why are we resting, coach? I'm ready to go. You don't want it too late where it's like, oh, fuck, I could have used a rest 3 weeks ago. No. You want that week 8 or week 9, and Doug Peterson did it again. We're 6-3, coming off the bye week. We play the 49ers.
5-3.
5-3. I think this is where we shock the nation. And I say that because I think this is where it seals my deal for the bet with Nar. When push comes to shove, I think the 49ers game is going to be the deciding factor in that 12-plus wins that I took on the Jaguars. Nar had the under. I don't know how I didn't get odds. It's my own fault, but whatever. I think it's close. I think it's a good game. I think the Jaguars come out on top 6-3. And I think that's when everybody goes, oh, shit. Trevor Lawrence might actually be nice. And they should know that now. But I think that's the week where they're like, oh, shit. Trevor Lawrence. Then we got the Titans. Again, AFC South. Fuck them. 7-3. Yep, that checks out. Texans again, 8-3. Bengals Monday Night Football got to be a loss, 8-4. I'm not sure we're ready for that yet. Maybe in the playoffs. Then we got the Browns Week 14. Again, I know tough division. Browns, Steelers, Bengals. Fuck them. Fuck the Browns. Jaguars know what's up. 9-4. That math checks out. Then we got the Ravens on
8-4.
Sunday Night Football. I think we lose that one. 9-5. And then I think we go Buccaneers win, Panthers win, Titans win. I think that takes us to 12-5. I think the Jaguars win the division. I think they go to the playoffs. I think we're fine. I think I get my Trevor Lawrence jersey from NAR. I haven't been very optimistic going into the season, and I get that. And I told my Lions fan friends the other day. I was like, I really don't want this to sound like a knock, because I'm not anti-Lions. But they have this optimism of we're Super Bowl favorites. Meanwhile, my team, who won their division last year, won a playoff game last year against the Chargers, hashtag shout out Noah, hashtag 27-0, hashtag get good, GETGUD. But I don't have too much optimism going into the season because it's the Jags, man. What historical evidence has proven to me that this is a team that can and will get itself out of the gutter? None. They were good to start out as an expansion franchise, and then they sunk, and then they had that outlier year with Blake Bortles, shout out the boat, and then they went back down again, and now we're where I have no reason to have faith in the Jaguars, which is why I'm a little bit pessimistic. Yes.
I can get behind that. As a Lions fan, I understand why you'd feel that way. I feel the same way. I think your division is worse.
Yes, I agree. I agree.
Not by much though. I don't think the North is that great. But you have to worry about the whole AFC. Is why I think Lions fans are much more optimistic, because we don't have to deal with what you have to deal with
Yeah.
consistently. What we have to deal with is the Eagles. The Rams won a Super Bowl. The 49ers and maybe the Cowboys, Seahawks.
Oh, fuck the Cowboys, dude. They're toast.
That's what we have to work with. So that's why you're seeing a whole lot of optimism. So that's why I'm going to try to defend myself a little bit.
I agree with that, though, Train. I do.
That's why I can see people from the AFC being a little bit like, I think we have a good team, but are we even gonna like the Bill, like that AFC East with the Bills, Dolphins, and the Jets now?
Yep.
Like they're all in the same division, and I don't even know who's gonna take that division.
Yeah.
It's scary. It's scary. So I understand.
Yeah, it's like, do I think the Jaguars will win the division? Yes. Yes, I do. I don't think that's a doubt in a lot of people's minds. But then it comes down to, do I think they win a playoff game? I don't know. Maybe they're facing Aaron Rodgers and the Jets in the wild card. Whereas if the Lions win their division and are a wild card team, who do you guys face? The Bucks with Baker Mayfield? Maybe.
No.
But
I see what you mean.
Exactly. Like maybe not the Bucks and Baker Mayfield, but it won't
Maybe like
be the
Panthers.
Eagles. Yeah, maybe
It could be like the Panthers.
maybe the Panthers and Bryce Young if he has a rookie of the year season, whereas the Jags could win their division and be seeing Aaron Rodgers or Josh Allen in the wild card game. So I'm really hesitant to be like, oh yeah, we make a deep run. Do we win the division? Yeah, probably. Do we finish 9-8 and win our division? Yeah, maybe we might, and that's what's tough. I need 12 wins? I do, and if we win 12 games and we're out in the first round, I'll tell you what, I'll be over the moon regardless because I'll have a T-Law jersey in the mail coming my way, and that's what matters at the end of the day. Before we move on to NBA, I got one question I feel like I gotta ask you, Train. After the draft, who is your favorite for offensive and defensive player of the year?
Ooh.
I won't hold you to it. We'll do a better award show closer to the NFL season, but right out of the draft, we're a couple weeks removed. Who do you think is just going to shine on the offensive and defensive side of the ball?
Um, Rookies?
That would be offensive defensive rookie of the year.
Oh, I
Yes.
didn't think you said rookie.
I might
Um,
not have, but I am now.
okay. So I think defensively, Devin Witherspoon is that guy, and he'll kind of mesh in a Seahawks defense. Um, I think Nolan Smith could be kind of nice defensively, but those are maybe my guesses. They both go into teams where they're not like maybe the favorite for the defensive rookie of the years, but I think they could impact pretty greatly. Offensively, I think you have to say one of the rookie starters at quarterback. Um, I think it's got to be Bryce Young. It's pretty chalk. He just kind of jumps into the best situation. I mean, the Texans get Stroud. Um, the Richardson, not much better situation. But if I had to say anyone other than Bryce Young, it might be another Seahawk with Jackson Smith and Jigba, which is kind of like the situation where they're guarding DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, and those guys are just going to be on the they're going to have all their attention on these guys that have proven themselves, and Jackson Smith and Jigba is good, and I think he'll get the ball a little bit more than we think on an offense that is already pretty solid. So as of now, with the shock value of you asking me that question, that's four guys that I think I could see right now. And I know I did say two Seahawks, but I did like their first round.
I think Devin Witherspoon is a great idea for Defensive Player of the Year. So much so that I'm going to piggyback right on that. I think he'll be incredible. I think we're seeing Legion of Boom. Well, maybe not Legion of Boom because Tariq Woolen and Devin Witherspoon aren't necessarily big hitters. But I think
Devin
it's going to.
Witherspoon is.
Yeah, I think it's going to be more so lockdown than anything else. So I think Devin Witherspoon's got the best chance. I like the Nolan Smith pick, but I'm going to piggyback on the Devin Witherspoon one. Um, Obviously, I had money on him to go number one overall. I think Anthony Richardson is going to be the most standout rookie. I, I already thought Bryce Young was too small. And then
Yeah,
I saw that Twitter video of him at
yeah, that was
Panthers
funny.
practice. And the
That was
first time I
funny.
watched it, I was like, oh,
That's fake.
that's funny. Like, coach had his kids step in for OTAs. And then I was like, oh,
Wait a second.
wait a that's that that's Bryce Young. I said he was small. He looks small. I think he's going to play small. Sure, if you're talking fantasy football draft, why not take a flyer on him? He might scramble in. Well, no, fuck that. He will scramble in inside the red zone a couple two tree times for sure. Can the guy throw a football? Tell you what, if I'm doing a fantasy draft right now, give me Justin Fields over Bryce Young. And you know, if you listen to this podcast weekly, that I do not like Justin Fields. I think he is a running back. I don't think his arm talent is better than Bryce Young. But I am really not convinced after that video that Bryce Young can see over top of an offensive lineman. Sure, at one point throughout the season, he'll hit a guy on the outside in the wide open field. And if our fan base is dedicated enough to this podcast, you can clip me saying that Bryce Young stinks and then follow it up with that clip of hitting his receiver deep one time. But play in, play out, day after day, week after week, year after year, the guy's not going to make the easy throws. And that's what's going to be frustrating. He'll make the big plays, couple 2-3 times a year. But when it's like 3rd and 6 and you need 8 yards out wide to the right to Penei Sewell, he's not going to hit that throw. Can Jared Goff run like Bryce Young can? Absolutely not. But can Jared Goff see what's happening down the field? Yeah, he can. Can Trevor Lawrence? Yeah, he can.
He's 6'6".
Bryce Young looks at the asses of his offensive linemen, and I don't know. I want to say I hope I'm wrong, but I don't think I am, and I don't think that I hope to be. I'm so pro, like, I've seen Moneyball. I get it. You gotta, like, no, fuck the defects. The guy can play ball. Yes, in college, but pro football is a different animal. Sure, in baseball, if you're a pitcher or a hitter, oh, his stance is weird, but he hit 400. All right, I don't give a fuck. He hit 400. Oh, he throws sidearm, but no one got a hit off of him. All right, I don't give a shit. Oh, well, he's in a college offense. He was really solid. Okay, well, I actually care a little bit because I need him in a pro offense. I need him to be safe in the pocket. If you're not Cam Newton, if you're not Lamar Jackson, I don't want to go to Kyler Murray because we'll see. And I've been told a couple times that, his first 2 years were good. No. If you're a fan of the Lions train and Jared Goff is a top 5 fantasy quarterback for 5 seasons, 5 years in a row, Jared Goff is a top 5 fantasy quarterback, but the Lions don't have a single playoff win to show for it, would you still say he's an elite quarterback? A good quarterback?
Elite or good?
Good.
Yes.
That that goes against my point. Kyler Murray might have been solid for a season or two, but if he's on your franchise, good luck. Have fun. Find the next one. You're not winning a playoff game with him. He's too one-dimensional. You stop the run, make him throw the fucking football. See what happens. Guarantee it won't be pretty. Same thing with Bryce Young. I think CJ Stroud might shine. I think the Texans might finish second in the division. I think the Jags are just too well put together in a division of what looks like chaos right now. I mean, Titans flirted about trading Henry. I know they're pretty much returning the same team. Defensive end is weak, whatever. I don't think Bryce Young has it. I don't think he's going to change a franchise. Will he put up stats? I'm sure he will. But I gave the same spiel on Kyler Murray, and I'll stand next to it. Will he be a good quarterback? Yeah, maybe. Is he going to lead your franchise to success? No. And if you're a fan of a franchise, then that's not who you want at your quarterback. Texans fans, celebrate. Who got Richardson? Colts?
Yes.
Colts, celebrate. Titans. Will Levis was a bit much, but we'll see what happens. I think he stinks also. I think the Colts are in the best position to succeed early. I think the Panthers are doomed. You draft a rookie quarterback right after you trade your wide receiver 1. Imagine that. Imagine that, Train. I don't know. We'll see what happens. I think Bryce Young sucks. I think Kyler Murray sucks. If you're a big arm quarterback, but you don't win playoff games, are you a good quarterback? No, you're not. But people are too, well, he's got this many. I don't give a fuck about his rush yards, his rushing touchdowns. They're just like passing stats, but they're not. You need to win playoff games. I
Short
will not
story is
I will
Bryce
not
Young. It's
constitute
not gonna
my
do well.
franchise as a success until they win playoff games.
That was the longest spiel.
That's the marker of success, especially for a quarterback. You got to
Oh
win
my
playoff
god.
games.
That
Train
was
will jump into the NBA.
okay.
Lakers
So
got swept.
I
My
don't have it on
betting,
here, but I kind of want to talk about it.
what? Was it NBA or no?
NBA, yes. The
Okay,
draft,
let me finish my intro.
yes.
Oh, the draft?
Or the draft lottery.
Go into the lottery first. I don't I don't know if I want to talk about it at all.
This is actually a portion. This is almost a reason why we didn't even do a pod one of the weeks that this came out.
It
Is
is.
because
It
Bark was
is.
so pissed off.
Yeah.
Um, Pistons had what a 14.5% chance to land the number one pick and a 50% chance to have fifth or better,
52
basically.
to go top 4, 48 to land at 5.
Okay, so we land at five, and we had 17 wins. We were obviously the worst team in basketball, and
Easily the worst team in basketball.
there's something about the lottery that really fucks with my brain, and it's the fact that they don't show us them pulling those cards. And it's like, dude, if you want us to not think it's rigged, just show us you pulling those cards,
I've
because
re-
they come out with it and it's just predetermined. And now if they do their thing in the back, like however it is, that's fine. But show us, or do it out in front of us so we can watch it. Landing the fifth pick with the worst record in the league is stupid. I think, the NFL doesn't have any problems, and obviously it's a big, big difference with a lot less, team, or a lot less games in the season. But teams are tanking for the lottery no matter what. So if you're trying to do the lottery to prevent tanking, it's not working, because people are or teams are still doing it. I'm pissed. I mean, I obviously wanted Wemby. Now who the fuck are we gonna get? We're gonna be a bad team for a long time. Go ahead, Bark.
So I was going to jump into playoffs, but I really love
Yeah.
that you brought up what you brought because the idea behind the lottery is, well, no one wants to be the worst team if they're not guaranteed the number one pick. So we'll jump back to the NFL quick because you mentioned that, and I think the NFL does it perfect. And I'm going to hit something that's a little bit personal to me because, I mean, it changed my fandom. Not that this was the deciding factor. If Reen gave me this pitch and we weren't going to land Trevor Lawrence, I'd probably still be a Jags fan. But it did happen, and I am a Jags fan. Frank Gore and the Jets, despite their awful record and zero playoff chances, won their last game of the season. Jags lost. That game locked the Jaguars in for the number one pick on the year of a Trevor Lawrence draft, which I've reiterated on this podcast many times. This guy wasn't just like, oh, he's the number one quarterback in the draft. That's whatever. So was Bryce Young. No.
Generational talent.
This guy was 6'6". This guy was generational talent-esque out of the draft. I've said what I've said in the past about him, and I'll stand by that. But unbiased NFL scouts said this guy's the best thing since Andrew Luck to enter the draft. And the Jets accidentally won a last game. It is what it is, but they were happy. And then to follow that up, the year where Jags picked Trayvon Walker number 1, Lions went Hutchinson number 2. When you guys beat, I think it was the Vikings, is that correct? When got the touchdown and Goff came over and hugged Dan Campbell.
Well, that was our first win of the season. That was not the last game of the season. But
Okay,
that
but
that was
yeah, first win.
yeah.
So a
That's
bad team celebrating and ecstatic for a win. In the NFL, there is no lottery, and those guys still want to go out there and win games. I, as a guy who played a little bit of high school sports, and then in college mostly did IM sports. Sure, there's a little bit of competitive nature to me. These guys get paid millions of dollars to be their best. They don't want to lose. I promise you, there's no professional athlete going out there being like, man, I really want Victor Wembanyama on this team. No, 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 because that center is like, no, I do not want Victor Wembanyama on this team because I'd like to keep my job. Thank you. These guys want to win basketball games. They want to win baseball games. They want to win hockey games. I promise you. By the look of happiness in the Lions' face when they won their first game, even though it wasn't like we got a chance at the playoffs or it wasn't we landed the number one pick, even they don't want it. The front office, maybe. But who's ever up there doing the money, if you've watched any feel-good sports movie, everybody's against the owners besides the owners. They want success. And in the NFL, you see more parity than any other sport. In our lifetime, name the last back-to-back consecutive Super Bowl winner, Train. I don't think you can. And I can't either without looking it up. Because in the NFL, you got a lot of people to take care of. And you saw it with the Eagles this year. Even if you make the Super Bowl and lose, everybody and their mom is looking to pick someone off of that team. Be like, yep, that's a Super Bowl winner. That's a Super Bowl contestant. That's a Super Bowl contestant. And they pluck them out one by one. And then it's like, Eagles aren't great. I had a good draft. Everyone's like, maybe the Eagles are still pretty solid. But the NFL does it right. The NBA, however, even though they have a lottery, you saw the Dallas Mavericks, who had Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving. At the end of the season, they're like, nah, fuck it. Sit them both. We don't want to make the play-in game and get locked in at 16, 17, 18, whatever that ends up at the draft. It's like we want to at least have a chance at the lottery. You offer teams in that middle ground the idea to be like, oh, we could land in the top 5. They'll take it. Because although you're number 1 and the most you can fall is 4 to 5, if you're 16... worst you can do is be exactly where you're at. Best you can do on the odds, land number 1. Why not take it? And that's where it's bullshit. Now you're encouraging those middling teams who would be the teams that would be competing for playoff spots, competing for conference championships. You're offering them an out. You're saying like, hey, don't push to win the division. Let someone else win it. Keep your assets and see what happens in the drafts. And that's where the bullshit happens. If your team sucks, they suck. Those bottom 5% of the teams, they're not tanking on purpose. They're just bad. And they need new players. 5 to 15, those are the teams where it's like, all right, you couldn't have bought a shooting guard in free agency. You couldn't have signed a second baseman. You couldn't have signed a left winger to get you a couple more goals, couple overtime wins. Those are the teams you're giving hope to. Not the bottom half, not the teams you're worried about tanking. You're catering to the teams who are like, we could make a playoff push, or we could have the best draft talent since, on scouting reports, best draft talent since LeBron James. You're catering to their needs. Let the bad teams be bad and rebuild, and let the good teams succeed. If you are in the middle and the trade deadline rolls around, my brother in Christ, you better make a move to compete. I love the way the MLB did it. Top 6 MLB lottery. I would have done 5. Owners wanted 4. Players wanted 10. They ended at 6. I think that's a decent enough point. But we just saw the Mavericks do it. They said, fuck it, we're not playing a playing game. We're going to take our shot at the ping pong balls and see what happens. And that's where I have a problem. We are watching it live, and Ring goes, it's going to be the Pistons. And it was. and my heart sank. I snapped Cole immediately. I said, I don't think I can do a pod tonight. My betting has been on an all-time low. I haven't won a bet.
Continues to be low.
I can't win. I can jinx anybody I want. We didn't win the lottery. The Red Wings ended at 9. I'm fed. I'm fed up. I'm fed up with sports, and that's why I told Cole I said I can't do it this week. But we're here this week, which brings me to this ultimate jinx. 2 nights ago, I took the Lakers minus 240 on the money line, and LeBron plus 20. I think he hit it. I don't know. Nuggets win 3-0 series lead. I go to a game 4. I fuck the Lakers. Well, no. I love the Lakers. Fuck LeBron. So I bet against the Lakers again in game 4. But in the back of my mind, I'm like, no way they get swept. No way they get swept by the Nuggets. Thought I was at least going to win $12 on that bet. And they were up like, what, 20 points at halftime, Trent?
The Lakers last night?
Yeah.
I don't think it was 20. I think maybe 12.
It was,
Maybe they were most up to by.
and I turn it on at the end of the night. And it's a tight game, and then they start losing. I have not won a bet in months. Well, besides my wager wheel bet, but
Yeah.
we'll get to that later. I can decide the outcome of sports, listeners. You send us a DM and you tell me what you want to have happen. I will make it happen for you. I will make
bet
it
against
happen. The Lakers got swept, and when they beat the Warriors, Colin Cowherd was like, wow, this is a different team. They beat the Lakers. They're going to kill the Nuggets. ESPN, Stephen A., they were like, oh, they're going to kill the Nuggets. 4-0 series sweep. I don't know if the Heat have swept yet, but they're up 3-0. Yeah, Train?
They're on right now. They're on my TV right now. They're up 4 in the first quarter against Boston
And
at home.
they're
right
up 3-0 on the series, though?
They are. I think it would be the first time ever both sides would sweep both sweep. Which is it bad for basketball? Is it bad for the NBA? I don't
I
know.
don't think that it is, because going into both series, it was, all right, we're going to get Celtics-Lakers, which would have been phenomenal. But again, fuck LeBron. So once the Nuggets were up 2-0, I started taking the Lakers money line, because at that point, I understood the power I had in my hand. And now it's Nuggets versus probably the Heat, unless the Celtics come back.
It would be. I mean, it would be absolutely insane if they came back 3-0. I think it would be the first time ever. I mean, we don't have much difference in the NHL here. If you want to make that transition, I mean,
We can.
Jimmy Butler is that guy. Jokic is that guy. I mean, that's the name of the NBA right now.
Yeah.
But I got the Golden Knights on right now as well against the Stars. They're up 2-0 in the series.
The
and then
Knights.
they scored. Yes, and they scored They've scored 3 goals in the first 8 minutes. It's 3-0, and it's not even the end of the
Knights?
first period. Yeah.
Are the Panthers up? Are the Panthers up 3-0 on the series, or did they lose last night?
They're either up 3-0 or I think they're up 3-0. I think it's like just a wild series for both NHL and NBA, where we're just seeing possible sweeps, which
Yeah.
might be the first time like ever. Right.
That would be insane if it was sweep,
Sweep.
4 sweeps.
Sweep.
That would be nuts. Eastern Conference, Western Conference in Chell, Eastern, Western NBA. I'm sure that's never happened before.
No, I don't, if it's not happened in the NBA, it certainly hasn't happened in both the NBA and the NHL. Which, hey, I'll take new stuff.
New stuff is good stuff. Speaking of new stuff, we'll jump into our new-ish segment, which is our wager wheel. And like I just mentioned, despite the fact that I did not upgrade our standings, you know what? I'll do it middle of the podcast right now, so you'll see it in live. Myself and Train, we both jumped to 5-5, which
Nice.
puts us
That's kind of
five
impressive if you think about it. Like we're randomly betting on games
five
based
and
off of this
five
wheel.
on random game bets. And this is especially impressive from a guy who hasn't won a bet in months.
Um,
Months.
while you're doing that, maybe we can chat a little bit about the golf tournament this past week. Brooksy won, which is pretty nice to see. I think his name is like Michael Block.
Yep.
Basically a golf trainer, or
Golf
he
pro. Yeah.
golf pro that teaches classes on how to swing a club, goes out there and balls out and makes like $350,000. Kind of nuts if you ask me. Um, got a feel for the guy, but did he cry too much, Bark?
I don't think he did. I mean, imagine, and I know neither of us work like in golf jobs, but I
Yeah.
know a couple golf pros personally, and imagine you're just golfing out at the course you manage at least, and your phone fucking starts vibrating. You're like, yeah, hello, and they're like, yeah, it's the PGA Tour. You want to come out this weekend? I don't know where I'd be mentally with that. I'd be like, oh, I,
Yeah, yeah,
are you sure about that? Like,
Are you sure about
like you have the right number. This is
this?
Michael
Is
Block
back.
from so. It's exciting. It's why I wear pants to the golf course every time I go out. When I try to,
Oh,
you never know when that phone's gonna ring, and they're like, "Are you tour eligible right now?" And you're like, "Damn right I am. Damn right I'm tour eligible." And on top of all that, to go out and not only hit a hole in one, but
Dunk
dunk
that.
a hole in one.
That's
I was
sick.
talking to one of my coworkers out at the scramble today for our company, and she was talking about Michael Block, and she's like, "What do you know about that?" I'm like, "Well, he dunked a hole in one." She's like, "In golf?" I'm like, "Yeah, like he hit it off of the tee, and it just went into the hole like immediately. It didn't do anything else. It just club air hole." And she goes, "Oh, so that's pretty good." I'm like, yeah, yeah, it's that's pretty
Fun,
good. Yeah, that's solid. That's what we like to see.
fun fact: when we did go to the TPC Sawgrass, we did see that on the 17th hole, which is one of my awesome memories in golf. Um, for anybody listening, we did see someone dunk it on the 17th. I think his name was like Ryan Moore, but
I think that's spot on, actually.
yeah.
But
All right. Yeah.
regardless, Train, here we go to the wheel.
There we go. There we
I
go.
got to jump back to the Discord because it fucks up my camera view. Train, MLB, away, spread. So you got to take the run line. It's
I'm gonna do
normally
this
minus one
for
and a half.
tomorrow.
Well, might be plus 1.5. But yeah, tomorrow, MLB, away, run line. And I will spin for myself.
You know what sucks?
What's that?
Um, Dustin May went on the 60-day IL today. Congrats to Reen on that trade for Manoa. I know Manoa's not playing well. Dude, Blue Jays are winning 17-1 against the Rays right now.
I've got an MLB under.
Oh, a bunch of MLB. We didn't really discuss a whole lot of MLB. The Tigers are like 2.5, 3.5 games out of the Central,
The
I
Tigers are
think.
2.5, 3.5 games out of the Central. And the problem is, and I'm a big Scott Harris guy, right? And I'm not a big Scott Harris guy because I believe in what he's doing is right and this and that. Because the guy, if anything, I'm like leaning a little bit anti Scott Harris now, but you got, in baseball, you have to give a couple of years. But when we hired the guys, like, the idea is to get rid of these at bats for these guys who we know what they are and give them to young guys. Meanwhile, we got motherfuckers cracking in the minor leagues, and they're just sitting there. Still, pull them up. Get 200 average Jonathan Scope off of this baseball team and bring Justin Henry Malloy, the piece we got from the Braves for Joe Jimenez, who is a pivotal piece in our bullpen. Get him out of here. I don't give a fuck. Send Scope out on his ass. I don't know. And I'm a good person. I am. Personally. Like, I get it. You gave him an extension. He was here through the rough. He had a good couple seasons. I understand it's frustrating. But these other teams, look at the Cubs. Eric Hosmer, Royals legend, Padres for a bit, not a legend, but he was there. They were like, nah, 250, not good enough. Scope's hitting 200, and his defensive stats aren't what they are. His OAA is awful. Get him off the team. Colt Keith, raking. Justin Henry Malloy, raking. I don't care if you're going to ignore these guys, but don't go out there in the offseason after you get hired and preach to me, we're going to give at-bats to young guys who, and then you sit there and keep giving them to Scope. Shut the fuck up, Scott Harris, and either make a fucking big baller move and cut a motherfucker who doesn't deserve to be on this team anymore and bring a minor league guy up, or make a trade happen. Sure, he fleeced whoever it was when he traded Jonathan Davis the other day for some 23-year-old outfielder. Whatever. He's got a handful of bombs in advanced A baseball. I do not give a fuck. I care what's happening right here, right now. And although the AL Central is as weak as it is, that's when you capitalize. So I don't know why you're sitting around waiting. I don't care if he doesn't think they're ready, or our head scout thinks they're ready, or our last scout in charge thinks they're ready. Why not give them a chance? I don't care about minor league options. I don't care about service time. Most teams don't anymore. We're looking at an era of all of sports, even outside of baseball, where primes are more exaggerated and shorter. Look at every young phenom in your lifetime since high school, Train. Think about the first young phenom you remember in high school, whether it's basketball, football, or baseball. Outside of Mike Trout and Bryce Harper, and that's just baseball, there is not a young phenom who was relevant when we were in high school who is still good today. It's about shorter, more extreme primes. So if they're hitting the ball now, bring them up and use them now. What are you waiting for? 30-year-old Colt Keith to come up and hit 20 bombs? Not going to happen. Use him while he's young. Use him while his muscles are loose. That's the way it goes. Fuck Scott Harris. Fuck the Tigers. I've changed my entire mood since this spiel. And because we're almost near the end of the episode, and I promised the shout out, I promised Brendan Weaver I'd shout him out, and I promised I'd call him a fat fuck, which was his request. But I'll say it anyways, I guess. I don't know. Train, what do you got for me for the MLB? I just covered it for you. Give me the good stuff. We're losing to the Royals right now, and I'm losing my freaking mind. Go ahead, Train.
Well, I'll dive into my MLB away spread. I'm gonna take the Sandy Alcantara and the Miami Marlins tomorrow, Wednesday. I think it's May 24th,
Yeah,
minus
that's
one and a
excellent.
half against the Rockies. He's on my fantasy team, so I got to represent and take them. While we were doing shout outs, shout out to Comp for coming down and helping me move
Shout out Comp.
into this this apartment. Appreciate it, Comp.
Um, Give me Giants Twins under whatever it is. I don't know. Go bet it if you want it. Giants Twins under. I think it's gonna happen. I don't know. Joe Ryan, Dave Sclafani, give me the chance. I think it'll happen.
Giants Twins.
That is correct. Yeah.
It is 7.5.
Yeah. Give it to me. Giants Twins under. Train, you got any closing thoughts besides the ode to Compton?
Um, the reason that we took a nice 2 week hiatus is Bark's little hatred of basketball and just busy lives. So
No. Hatred of sports.
hatred of sports in general for a little while. We're diving back. Bark was pretty hammered at the start of this. I'm sure he's come down a little bit, but
No, I'm still
his
hammered.
his long little spiels were a little funny. So hopefully they didn't get a little. I mean, Bryce Young, that one went on a while. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Bryce Young's short, and he will stink. People will try to say, like, oh, you said he sucks, but he got this. I don't give a fuck about his
Oh wait,
fantasy
wait, wait,
stats.
wait! Stop! What are we doing at 20 subs?
What do you want to do at 20 subs?
Um, well, we didn't do anything special for the 30th episode, other than
Well,
you got
come
pretty
on,
drunk
30,
for it.
maybe 50. Maybe
50.
50 they get a show.
Okay, so 20, we'll discuss it throughout this week. If we get
You know
20
what?
in the next week,
No. Listen. You want a reward for 20 subs? You follow our Twitter, you turn on noties, and when we hit 20 subs, then we'll let you know what happens. Spoiler alert, one of those 20 subs might win a prize. But it's going to be tweeted. And if it doesn't happen before the next episode, next week on Tuesday night, offers off the table. So if you're listening now, get your mom, your dad, your sister, your cousin, your uncle, your aunt. I don't care. Steal their phone at a family gathering. Just Google YouTube Jux and All Things Sports Pod and hit that subscribe button. It doesn't do anything
everybody's got an
except support us. Do it. Just do it.
Just do it.
Was that all you had, Train?
That's all I had. If we get 20 in the next week, yeah, I'm willing to give them something. Maybe
Nope.
$1,000.
Got to follow the Twitter. Got to turn on noties to know what it's going to be. Bryce Young sucks. He's too short. Don't don't tweet me with fantasy stats. Call me when he wins a Super Bowl. Javi Baez singled in the top of the fifth. Zach McKinstry scores. Tigers are down 3-1. Thanks again for tuning in to us, spending this time of the day with us. I apologize for maybe my confused state, but hopefully you enjoyed. We're here for you. We're coming back more regularly. I'm going to turn the betting streak around, starting with this wager wheel. Give me that under on the Twins-Giants game. We're eating. And on top of that, with the Jux All Things Sports Pod, presented by Always Bullin'. Subscribe on YouTube. Give us a rating and follow on Spotify. But the one thing we always do, no matter what, at the end of an episode, we fist it. Let's hear it. Fuck Bryce Young.